I'm gonna break you down, girl. Show you around my town, girl. Ain't no one around, so girl, let's just blaze it down, girl. Can we live in the now, girl? Some just like a sound, girl. I know you like to flow, girl. We ain't gotta touch the ground, girl. Can you take it off? Can you take it off? I won't let you fall. Can you take it off? Can you take it off? We won't let you fall, no baby. I won't let you fall. Baby, tell me what's been on your mind. Oh, you know I can see through the disguise. And baby, you know you're really mine. Oh, I can tell it from the way you write. You ain't never get nothing to hide. Oh, you put your fucking feelings to the side, so we can find out issues that we find. Oh, you gotta keep it sounding like a mine. We should really speak up, let it chime. Oh, I told you, baby, we could really shine. All we had to take your fucking time. Oh, you know we had to fuck, but we could climb. No shortcuts, so all we do is shine. Yo, yeah. All we do is shine. Can you take it off? Can you take it off? I won't let you fall. We've been real close, little baby. I won't let you fall. Can you take it off? Can you take it off? Can you take it off, girl? I won't let you fall, girl. Let's smoke up on that pound, girl. I know you like to flow, girl. We ain't gotta touch the ground, girl. Can you take it up? Can you take it up? I won't let you fall. Please don't run away, but baby, I won't have it up. Welcome back to another communication station with your boy Schwetzel. So we're gonna try and make this quick and easy, quick and simple for you guys. This one isn't gonna be as long as my other live streams, even though I would like it to be. If we have to come back and break it down a little bit more, we will. It's 2:00 right now. I need to start getting ready for work at 3, so I might be able to run an hour-long live stream in this bitch. What's good, Zay? And what's good, Merzala? So yeah, we talking about today how to actually develop stability within chaos, because everybody goes through chaotic situations. Everybody goes through chaotic mind states, emotional states, whether that be reflected outwardly and your circumstances and situations are chaotic, or you are just chaotic internally. And obviously everything in our internal is reflected outwardly. So eventually it's going to come to a situation where you got chaotic shit going on. So I'm going to teach you how to prevent that from happening if you're just chaotic mentally and emotionally, or if you're a situation where you are starting to develop manifestations that show you chaoticness based on the mental and emotional state of being that you've been in and perpetuating for a long period of time, right? So that's what we're talking about today. So when we actually get into this, I'm going to tell you how to actually start to develop stability within chaos. So a lot of people get chaotic mentally and emotionally due to not being able to have control over certain things. That is like the main thing that people get stressed out about. That's the main thing that causes people to start to be chaotic and shit like that. It's because they feel like they have no control over their own life, or have no control over their mental and emotional state of being. things like that. And this breeds nothing but manifestations of more chaoticness, more you being out of control of things, more of you feeling that way, more of you creating that shit to prove yourself like, yeah, I don't really have control. I don't really have control over these things and stuff like that. Let me grab a drink though. Cause I've already got some like hiccups going on and shit for some reason. A little bit too much air going on. So yeah, that if you are a person who is experiencing chaotic things at the moment, you need to realize it's due to you feeling like you have a lack of power and control over certain things in your life. And when you feel out of control, you're going to feel out of control. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you out of control, you're going to be out of control. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to take a few things into consideration when we're actually trying to develop some formulation of stability. Okay. And this is going to be easier for people who have earth signs in their big three or have a lot of earth energies in their chart in general. This is going to be a lot easier for you guys to not only understand, but it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to actually implement. And if you're a person who doesn't have a lot of earth energies in your chart or doesn't have a lot of earth energies in their big three, like for me, for example, Capricorn Sun, Taurus Moon, I've told you guys this many times. So my Taurus Moon really helps me with stability in chaotic circumstances and situations. You get what I'm saying? Because just by default, I know how to naturally act out into some formulation of stability type of energy. I know how to act out into some formulation of practicality type of energy. You get what I'm saying? And this is based on my experiences that I have seen, where chaotic moments or moments where I was feeling a little bit out of control, just my natural response is what helped build and develop stability within the environment and stuff like that. So a few things that you can actually do to develop stability, and this will actually even help certain people in your environment and shit like that. One thing is utilizing positive energy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me. But yeah, one of the big tools that you can actually use is utilizing positive energy in these chaotic circumstances and situations. This will help influence the people in your environment to be less chaotic. And the more that you act out on positive energy and you act out on stability and practicality within the chaotic circumstances and situations, even if you're dealing with other people, this is going to be you basically being the example of what practicality and stability looks like. You get what I'm saying? So when you're acting out these types of characteristic traits in a positive way, you're going to influence the people in your environment to start being less chaotic and start being more practical and start being more stable about things, even if there's just certain random things in the environment that go on where, like, you know what I'm saying, certain shit that's actually out of your control, another person coming around this environment, or you know what I'm saying. But by you being the example and using that positive energy of what stability actually is, you know what I'm saying, you're going to influence these people to react and respond differently to the circumstances and situations when somebody show up at their doorstep on some chaotic shit, or somebody come around with some drama or some, you know what I'm saying, some negative type of shit, some violence, some anything like that. The people in your environment, you're going to start to notice how they will start to react and respond to these situations differently due to the example that you've set forth, due to how you've been acting out in the environment recently. You're going to start to see these people change how they react and respond to it. And especially if you're in a particular environment for a longer period of time and shit like that, you're going to see how these people will start to be like, if somebody comes around on some drama shit, like a woman's baby dad comes around or some shit and starts talking a whole bunch of shit, you're going to see how when you first started coming around, like, she would be the type of woman to argue back with them and shit, or fucking throw a frying pan at his head, or you know what I'm saying, some shit like this. You'll notice things like this whenever you first start coming around these type of chaotic environments. And then after you've been around for a while and you've been setting the example for a while, you get what I'm saying, you're going to see this woman start to react and respond differently, and everybody in the environment But I'm just using this as an example right now. So like if her baby dad come around on some bullshit now, you gonna see how she even acting out more mature just by your example that you set forth. This is how you know that we all have a wave of influence, and the minor things that we do that might seem insignificant to us, or the things that we're just doing to make our life better and make us better throughout circumstances and situations due to what we've learned and shit. This is how you know that our influence actually matters, and people are paying attention to you that you might not necessarily know are actually paying attention to you at the moment, and you're actually helping people out a lot more than you could even grasp or even know about, just by you acting out certain things in a positive manner and utilizing the correct type of tools and applying them in the right type of way with practicality and stability. The basically what this whole video is about. You get what I'm saying? So now you see when that same baby dad come around and it's that same woman, he's still on bullshit because he hasn't been around you. He hasn't seen you be the influence. So he doesn't have, in his mind, he doesn't have an example to look at as far as how to actually get grips with stability when I'm going through these chaotic situations. Like I don't have custody of my kids right now, or my baby mama is fucking with a dude that I necessarily don't like, or some shit, or things like that. You know what I'm saying? So this dude don't have that example, right? So he's still gonna come around on the same bullshit. But this woman has been around you for a little while. You know what I'm saying? And even though you going through chaotic shit at the moment, you've been the example of how to be stable within that environment. So now she's gonna react and respond to it differently. She's gonna when he comes back around, she's just gonna ignore it, shrug it off, act like, you know what I'm saying? Act like it don't really even matter like that and shit like that. And basically shut down the argument and don't feed into what because a lot of times people be arguing just for the sake of argument, and a lot of times people be arguing just for the sake of getting your energy, as far as getting your reaction and response and getting you all worked up and heated and shit like that. That's what a lot of people be actually arguing for. Like, it don't even be the problem itself, they just be looking for some type of response most of the time. But you'll see this woman now she don't react and respond to it like that. Like, she would be much more calm in the situation, unless it's like some violence coming to her or some shit. That's a completely different topic, though. You know what I'm saying? People got to defend themselves when certain things happen. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you will see how she will start to react and respond differently. And like I said, I'm just using this as an example. Everyone in the environment, if you're in a chaotic environment and you're developing an atmosphere that is more on a positive note and more correlated to practicality and stability, it's going to be shown. You know what I'm saying? You're going to start to see how people will more so correlate with you, because a lot of people don't want to be actually living in routine and patterns like that, and actually experiencing chaos all the time. Some people love it and like feed off of that shit. And then there's other people who are just in those circumstances and situations for the moment, and they're like trying to do their best to work out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you can actually make stability within an environment based on influencing other individuals with how you correlate stability and how you correlate being practical and stuff like that. Raj S says, "Hey, bro, good seeing you back." Thanks, man. Good seeing you back. For real. Good seeing you back. Popping up in the channel and shit. I appreciate you. You get what I'm saying? No, that is what is going to actually help your environment. You're going to actually influence the environment. That's what's going to make your outward environment less chaotic and more stable and more practical and more making sense and less of just fire and water all the time and all type of mystery energies, but in like a negative type of way, because you do want to utilize those energies. You do want a little bit of chaos in your life. That way you're able to get like unexpected opportunities and unexpected things happen in your life, or unexpected gift and talents pop up and shit like that. That's where the chaos can come in handy at. You just have to learn how to be stable and practical within that. That way you can still utilize some of that mystery energy, and you can still utilize some of that chaos energy to in a more positive manner, in a more, you know what I'm saying, not in a chaotic way where it's like you're always dealing with the same type of shit as far as drama, violence, and chaos in a negative way. I think y'all know what I mean when I'm saying this shit. I legit had to train my son's father with that exact method. Yeah, exactly. Because this is the thing, man. If you're carrying around a certain atmosphere and you're carrying around a certain environment within yourself internally, whatever environment you fostered within yourself, you are going to act out on those characteristics and traits by default. And like I said, we all have a wave of influence. A lot of people be paying attention to us that we don't even know actually be paying attention to us and shit like that, and looking to us as an example and looking to us as some type of authority or leadership. Not to say that you need to get into an ego ass mind and sit here and think that you have mental and emotional authority over everybody and you're everybody's leader and shit like that. And now you need to be some type of negative ass motherfucker who always expect people to listen to them and shit like that. That's when you start to get into the ego aspect and start to get flunked out a little bit. And then that's when people ain't going to pay attention to you as much. Because even if you're doing the right things, that this is what y'all need to understand about authority and about leadership. Whenever you're being a leader or you're having authority over some aspect of life or even over a group of people, though, it's not what you're doing within that circumstance and situation. You can be doing every single thing right. You can be doing all the most positive natured shit in existence that you can think of. You know what I'm saying? But it's how you do it. It don't matter about all that other shit. It's about how you do it. So if you're doing positive shit and being the example in a certain type of way, but yet you're still like verbally assaulting people and shit like that, or making people feel like they're less than they actually are, or making people feel like they're stupid in certain circumstances and situations, it's not going to play out for you in the same type of way. And it's going to become something that's negative when it appeared positive in the first place. You get what I'm saying? Due to how you're approaching it, due to the ego you have over your power and authority and over your control over the situation like that. And the way that we can know this is from working at jobs and shit like that, dealing with managers and stuff like that. The manager that is always on your ass and the manager who is always like making demands and shit, and they come up to you and they're like, hey, go do this. Like, you know that you don't fuck with that manager at all. Don't nobody fuck with that manager at all. You know what I'm saying? But the one that approaches it with their communication in the right type of aspect, and they're like, hey, could you please, you know what I'm saying? Could you go do this? Or would you please go do this? Or, you know what I'm saying? Instead of making demands, being more inquisitive with it. Like, could you please go do this and make sure you have this handled by the end of the shift? Everybody like that manager so much more. You get what I'm saying? So take that into your everyday circumstance and situation. If you're a person who is actually in a leadership role or a person who actually has authority over certain things due to your experiences and how you see that you have influence, people are paying attention to you and shit like that. And you're being utilized as an example in some type of way for God and shit like that. That's how you actually play it out in a more sufficient type of manner, Even if it appeared negative in the first place, people are eventually going to come to grips due to how you are actually playing it out. You're not in an ego thinking like, yeah, I got to flex my mental authority and shit. I got to flex my, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be in that type of aspect. People are, it can even start out positive and it can appear positive due to the actions you're taking as far as doing things the right way and shit like that. But ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. Ain't nobody gonna listen to you like that because of the way that you're approaching it, due to you trying to flex that mental authority and shit with your communication. Like, don't be in that type of aspect. That's a very negative aspect of what we're talking about here today. Misa B, peace and gratitude. Peace and much gratitude to join in. Yeah, gratitude. Thank you for popping in for sure. Thank you for popping in. I don't believe I've seen you here before. It's always good. It's always good to see new faces around. You know what I'm saying? Let me know I'm still able to get a little bit more reach. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all before, every 2 videos I was gaining about half of a person. So it's a little bit different now. Every video I'm gaining like 80% of a person. So it's like pretty much every video I upload, I get a new subscriber now. You know what I'm saying? So fucking big shout out to y'all for that. And big shout out to me. I don't know very many people who can get on here and just talk. You know what I'm saying? No editing skills, no thumbnail, no nothing like that, and get 1.2K views on a video. You know what I'm saying? And all type of likes and shit like that. Like, there's not many people out there who can actually do that shit. So big shout out to me and big shout out to y'all for tuning in, liking and subscribing. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. Seriously, that this ain't the shit that keeps me going. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I just do this because I enjoy it, but y'all's support is very much appreciated. Don't think that it's something that's missed over here on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for every one of y'all. But yeah, like I said, the main thing with being in chaotic circumstances and situations and being chaotic mentally and emotionally is feeling like you're out of control. That's where the chaos stems from, and that is the root cause of the issue. That's where the chaos is developed. You continuing to harbor on those thoughts and feelings of feeling like you're out of control at the moment and you don't have control over certain things. So live life a little bit, experience a few things, and then this is going to give you the awareness to actually realize what you have power and control over in your life and what you don't. You get what I'm saying? And when you start to actually act on what you have power and control over, as far as changing how you think about things, changing how you view things, changing how you feel about circumstances and situations, changing the vibration that you carry on a daily basis by default, and learning how to maintain a more sufficient environment for yourself, learning how to develop and maintain a more sufficient atmosphere for yourself, and learning when to let go of certain cloaks and garments and shit, as far as spiritually, when we're talking about our men and women and shit like that. And when these two things come together and develop a mentality. That's what I like to call it. When it's the thought and feeling together, a strong man and woman together, it develop a mentality, and that becomes like a cloak that you put on your spirit. It becomes like another garment, another layering system that you can utilize as a tool. You get what I'm saying? But when that shit starts to get all stained up and starts to get little fucking tears in it, or you might have hung it up in the closet for a week and you didn't realize that you didn't put enough mothballs in the closet and shit, and little moths and shit get in there and start eating holes through that garment and shit. Next time you look at it, make sure you're paying attention to see if it's all stained up and ripped and teared and shit like that. That way you can discard it when you need to, and then you can develop some formulation of some newness in your life. You get what I'm saying? Or mentally and emotionally develop some type of newness with a mentality and shit like that. And our circumstances and situations are what is gonna show us what is actually useful and not useful at the moment. So a big problem that I be seeing in life a lot is people utilizing shit that don't work anymore. Due to the things that they've experienced in their own day-to-day life, due to the traumas that they've developed, due to, you know, a number of different things. You know what I'm saying? But don't be operating on old shit and trying to bring it into new environments and expecting it to work in the same way that it has in the past. That is not always the case. But like I said, the reason that chaos come and a lack of stability come is because of feeling out of control. So like I said, live life, experience some things, learn what you have power and control over, and start to transmute or change these things in some type of way. Change how you think and feel about things, and start to act out on those things that you actually have power and control over. That way you can get yourself out of more chaotic situations, or when you are in chaotic situations, you have no choice but to be there for the moment. You get what I'm saying? Now you can actually act out more stability within the environment, because you can be happy and satisfied with what you have power and control over. And the only time that you're going to get chaotic internally and get aggravated internally is when you're not acting on those things that you know that you have power and control over. So for example, if you allow somebody to talk to you a certain way that you don't necessarily like or agree with, or you know what I'm saying, situations like that is something that will develop aggravation within you, because now you're at the state of being where you actually have developed the awareness around what you actually do have power and control over. So whenever you lose grip on those things, or you don't have the courage to tell a motherfucker like, hey bitch, don't talk to me like that, or something, you know what I'm saying? Now that's going to put you in a situation where you're developing more chaos and you're developing more out of controlness, and you get aggravated within yourself, because it's like, damn, like that's one of the things that I have power and control over. Like, why am I not taking control in that circumstance and situation? Why am I not taking control over that energy and directing it how I want it to be directed? Why am I letting people talk to me like this? Why am I, you know what I'm saying? And you can be happy and satisfied with those things when you actually do take action on them. And then vice versa, whenever there's situations that occur that you know that you don't have any power and control over, and it's just something that happens, you know what I'm saying? You can even be more stable in that mentally and emotionally, because you know at the end of the day, I don't have any power and control over that. There's nothing that I can do about this. There, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that I can do to change this. That's something that is beyond my control. That is a universal thing that you know, is just happening right now. Like I can't control that. So that will make you actually more stable and more satisfied internally, because you already know, you already are aware that I don't have power and control over that anyways. So for me to give stressing energy towards that and stressing over something that I don't have any control over at the end of the day, that is a waste of your energy. And if you actually have the awareness to know what you don't have control over and what you do have control over, that is going to help you to be more satisfied with that. It's going to help you to be more stable internally with that, because you're like, well, fuck, I don't have control over it anyways. You know, what's the reason for me sitting here trying to hold on to it and trying to control it in some type of way? Let me just focus on these things that I can take power and control over. That way, maybe one day I can grow to a space where I do start to have power and control over more complicated things and over more broad things. You know what I'm saying? You got to start small. That's what a lot of y'all be missing on life. You got to start small. You got to take the small steps first. You can't just make leaps and bounds and try to jump into a certain state of being or a certain environment based on whatever the fuck you're trying to have power control over at the moment. Like you have to start with the very small shit, that even if it goes down to, bitch, I have power and control over how my bedroom looked today. Let me make sure that my bedroom is cleaned up real nice. You know what I'm saying? I have power and control over making sure that these dishes get washed today. So let me go ahead and take, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit start from very small, minute levels. You just need to develop the awareness around what you actually do and don't have power and control over. You get what I'm saying? And the more that you take action on those things, it's going to help broaden your awareness to make you realize more things that you can have power and control over if you just implement taking practical action on these things. You get what I'm saying? That is what, as you grow, you're going to start to realize more things that you actually can have power and control over, instead of it just being a situation, like I said previously, where you're like, well, fuck, I don't have control over that. It just is what it is at the moment. So, you know, let me just focus on these things that I do have control over at the moment. Once you grow more, you're going to start to realize more shit that you actually have power and control over. And the more that you live your life in a sufficient manner and you have developed a sufficient atmosphere and a sufficient environment within yourself, the more that your outward circumstances and situations are going to reflect that. And the more that you are going to actually be a physical walking example of the right or the wrong thing to do at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So you don't think that your influence doesn't matter. We all have a wave of influence. And the more aware you become, you're actually going to be able to start to see these things, even if it's not physically you seeing it with your own two eyes. Your internal intuitions are going to be able to see these things. So when you take steps in certain environments, you're going to even see how you're kind of walking on fucking fluid at the moment. You get what I'm saying? You're kind of being like Jesus and walking on water at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So every step you take, you literally see the ripple effect emanating from you outwardly. You get what I'm saying? So don't think your influence doesn't matter. Everyone is hit by your influence. And don't think that people are not paying attention to you. And vice versa, don't think that your influence matters so much. And don't be thinking that people are paying attention to you more so than they actually are, because that is actually what you start to develop, like anxiety and shit like that, and like paranoia in certain type of situations, because you be thinking like, oh fuck, like everybody's watching me, like, you know what I'm saying, like, why is everybody watching me at the moment? You know, like, don't get into that aspect of thinking like everybody's paying attention to you more than they actually are. But if it's reality and they actually are, you get what I'm saying, just continue to be you. Don't allow the pressure to come in. Because for me personally, I'm Leo North Node. Okay. So being in the spotlight, getting attention by default is just my natural thing. Like as far as living life, like I never understood that growing up. So a lot of y'all people who are Leo North Nodes out there, this is going to be a tidbit that helps you guys out a good bit. Whenever I was younger, I used to get a lot of attention in school. Whether that was positive or negative, doesn't matter. Attention in the first place, right? So just by me doing some type of authentic expression, I would always get the spotlight shown on me in some type of way. You get what I'm saying? So boom, whenever I was younger, that shit would get to me a lot. I didn't understand it. And a lot of situations, like even if I was doing something as simple as writing down words on a page, or I'm doing something as simple as doing some type of excuse me, doing some type of hands-on work, and people are watching me, and I excuse me, good God, what the fuck is going on? I got a lot of air built up right now for some reason. But when certain people were watching me in the environment and shit like that, that's my north node. So that's where the uncomfortability lies. When those type of situations would occur, I would allow the pressure to get to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I would develop all types of pressures in my own mind that might not actually be applied in real life. That's just something that you develop internally based on that being your north node and based on that being uncomfortable energies to you. You get what I'm saying? So when people are watching you like that, you will develop all type of internal pressuring systems within yourself and feeling like there's a whole bunch of pressure in the situation, and then you fuck up. Like you start writing the wrong type of word, or you know what I'm saying, to have to erase a whole bunch of mistakes or whatever you're doing that you can easily do all the time when you're by yourself. Like you've done it 1,000 times. You can do this shit easily when you're by yourself. And then you go and start getting attention in certain environments, and now you fuck up doing what you always do. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the pressure that you put on yourself due to you being uncomfortable with that, due to you having your north node placed in Leo. What's good, Tank? But yeah, this is what occurs. So don't be in a situation where you're developing negative pressure on yourself just based on getting attention at the moment. And don't be all nervous and paranoid because people are paying attention to you at the moment. Start to step more into that north node and develop that comfortability around uncomfortability type of energy. That way you can actually be in a situation where no matter if you're alone or if the spotlight is shown on you, you still act out at your highest potential, or whatever potential that you're able to actually grasp and gravitate at the moment. You get what I'm saying? Because we're all at different levels at the moment. Not everybody is able to tap into their full potential as far as an expression and shit like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't think that you're failing by not being able to act it out at a higher degree as some other people that you have seen who are into the same shit that you're into. Just do what you're doing. The more that you develop that and the more that you build comfortability around that, and also just by default, the more that you are working on whatever it is that you're into at the moment, the more sufficiently you're going to be able to act that out alone and when you're around other individuals. So even if you're going to perform a show, going to perform your first show, going to, you know what I'm saying, going to do whatever, and you have a bunch of people who are watching you now, and this is something that you're very vulnerable about, or something that, you know what I'm saying, whatever it may be, now you're able to act it out in a more sufficient manner because you don't give a fuck about the pressure. You don't give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying, you don't give a fuck about if they're watching you or if they aren't watching you. That's where the negativity comes into it, because if you're fixated too much on other people, because this is where what actually be going on a lot of the time when you have North Node in Leo. You be observing other people and you be worried about how they're going to perceive you based on that fifth house energy, based on the Leo energy, based on the sun energy. You start to develop all type of worrying and nervousness energies about how they're actually going to perceive you and how they're going to react and respond to whatever it is that you're in, or if they're going to diminish your characteristics, gifts, and traits at the moment, or if they're going to give you support and boost up your ego type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So don't give a fuck either way. That is the highest form of lostness. I don't give a fuck what zodiac sign you have placed in your north node or south node. I don't care about any of that. For real. If you are a person who sits back and is extremely worried about how people are going to think about you all the time, like that is one of the highest forms of lostness, because that is going to actually put you in a sunken place and start to make you act out in certain ways just for relatability or just for agreeability at the moment and shit like that. So you start to be less and less of yourself the more that you train yourself to be like that, and the more that you train your environment to be like that. This is why you have a lot of people out here now who are still looking for themselves, and a lot of people out here now who don't know who the fuck they are, because of the routine and pattern that you have developed due to how our childhood is. You get what I'm saying? Because by default, all of us, when we're children, we always look to whoever the adult is in our environment, or whoever is teaching us how to correlate ourselves in life and how to act out. we're always secretly looking at these people for some type of confirmation or some type of I can't think of another word for confirmation or validation. You're always looking to them to make sure that you're doing these things right and you're doing the right thing at the moment, like subconsciously, secretly. And you know this. You know what I'm saying? You breaking down the empath to psychopath pipeline. Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of people be too deep into emotional states and shit like that. So that what I was just talking about as far as what we experience from our childhood when we're always looking to somebody in our environment, whoever the adult is, whoever the parent is that has taught us how to speak, how to walk, how to fucking, you know what I'm saying, how to wash dishes, how to express yourself in certain situations. You're always looking to them to make sure that you're doing the right thing. And we're extremely emotional as children because you know this because most children that you see are extremely emotionally immature and extremely emotionally chaotic. You know what I'm saying? So we are in heavy emotion. That's the empath type of energy as far as what Zay was just saying. You know what I'm saying? So we be in heavy emotions when we're children and when we're coming up, and we program ourselves to be more like that whenever we're going throughout our day to day. So subconsciously, as we grow into adulthood and shit like that, subconsciously on our mind, due to what we've been paying attention to all these years, is gonna be situations of like, oh man, I gotta make sure that I fit into this environment well. I gotta make sure that I'm acting and reacting in these certain type of ways, and I gotta make sure, you know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure I'm not doing this or that. Yeah, shit like that, just for the agreeability, for the relatability at the moment, to make sure that things go more sufficiently. But what that's actually doing is teaching you how to get further away from yourself and teaching you how to be more emotionally immature and teaching you how to be more of an empath and always caring about how other people are going to view you and how other people are going to feel about how you are acting out in certain environments. You get what I'm saying? Don't give a fuck about that shit. You need to release those grips on yourself. You need to release what you've trained yourself to be. That way you can actually get back to your true essence and shit like that. And I don't like using the word back, but due to lack of words, that's what we're saying right now. You know what I'm saying? So don't be fixated on how you have programmed yourself throughout life due to your, because this is what we all have to go through by default. All of us are taught how to not be ourselves first. You get what I'm saying? All of us are taught how to not be ourselves first. We're taught how to walk in a correct type of manner. We're taught how to carry ourselves in a correct type of manner. We're taught how to speak and communicate in the right type of manner and say the right type of words. In certain family situations, don't say these words and do say these words. Don't say these type of cuss words. These are bad words and shit. You know what I'm saying? Certain things like that. You know what I'm saying? But as you grow, you need to separate yourself more from that energy. That way you can be more on, like he said, the psychopath path line. That way you don't be in a situation where you're extremely caring about how other people are going to feel all the time. Because let me tell you, like I said, we all by default are on this type of tip from our upbringing. But due to a lot of people's rough environments and shit like that, they acted out in the wrong type of ways. So they be extremely empathetic towards maybe people who are more closer to them. You get what I'm saying? And people who they actually let into their circle and shit like that. But when it's actually in reality and shit like that, it be a situation where don't nobody give a fuck how you actually feel. So you actually being an empath and extremely caring about how other people feel all the time is already to a detriment to yourself. Because last time I checked, didn't nobody in my entire life ever give a fuck how I would feel about how they acted, about how they talked to me, about any fucking thing. You get what I'm saying? I ain't found nobody in my life that cared about that shit and fix their face or fix their expression to correlate to how I might feel about it, to lessen their aggression, to, you know, be a little bit more easy with me due to how I might feel about it or how I might take that disrespect or how I might take that joke. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've never experienced that in life, bitch. So why the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Why do you care what anybody else feels about what you're going to do? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time on that shit. You need to be a little bit more psychopathic, be a little bit more not giving so much a fuck about the woman or the bitch or the, you know what I'm saying, the emotion at the moment. That shit is another big excuse to be lazy. Thinking we can go through a perspective God showed us while retaining the promise of the role of our current ego fits. Yeah, exactly. And this is because due to your experiences, you know how certain things work for you. You get what I'm saying? And just like Dolo say, shout out to Uriel. Just because something work, bitch, it don't mean it's the right thing to do. It, you know, and it might work for the moment. It doesn't mean that it works at a macro level. It doesn't mean that it works in totality. That's like fast money type of energy. That's like, you know what I'm saying? That's that type of shit. Just because you know that it works at the moment, or just because your mental and emotional state aligns with that at the moment. And that's not even the true you. That's something that you've just developed through your entire life and your experiences. Society tells you, give me this time and character and you'll be accepted. The seeding of thinking you smart being lazy, but it's bastardized because it ain't your plan/program. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What he just said. That's exactly what happens. Society tells you, bitch, give me your time and energy. Give me this certain specific type of character. You need to be acting out in this type of way. And you gonna get what you want. You gonna get that check at the end of the week. You gonna get that, you know what I'm saying? You might even be able to be a manager if you act out this character harder than these other motherfuckers who are in this environment. And if you start to care about this job a little bit more than these other motherfuckers in this environment, you can even get an upgrade. You can get an upgraded position. You could get a fatter pension. You could get a fatter 401k. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But like he said, it's being lazy in the mind. It's being lazy mentally and emotionally. And it's bastardized because it's not your plan or program. It's not of your creation. And like I said, anyone who has worked a job knows this shit. And the people who are actually creating these corporations to make it into a job where they can hire employees and shit like that, they know this too. If you pay very close attention whenever you go into a job and you just got the job, you start doing your first couple of days of training, whether you have to do some shit on the computer and watch some videos, or whether you're just actually on the floor or whatever the fuck you're doing. Ooh, about sneezed again. Is it gonna go away? Excuse me, y'all. But anyways, yeah. So when you're actually on the floor or you're actually there on the computer watching these videos and shit like that to do your training and stuff, if you actually pay attention, you will start to notice that whoever is running the corporation that is able to hire employees at the moment, you will start to see that they have actually created a very specific environment for that job. And they will even make it be a contractual agreement where you actually have to go and sign paperwork agreeing that you are going to be this certain type of character when you are in this environment of what this fucking job is. Whether that be McDonald's, whether that be some type of factory, whether that be whatever the fuck you're dealing with. You get what I'm saying? These people know what they're doing. They're creating an atmosphere and an environment first and foremost. And then what they're doing is to be able to foster and uphold that environment and that atmosphere, they make you make an agreement to actually act out in this certain character, these certain characteristics and traits. Otherwise, you'll lose your job. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a very deep-rooted psychological thing when we get into even just working a job in the first place. These people know what they're doing. It's not by accident that this shit be happening this way. When you start to learn about things and you start to develop more awareness for yourself, anytime you go into these environments, you are going to notice this shit and you are going to see what is actually going on at the end of the day. It's not something that's just happening by happenstance and it just so happens to correlate with some shit that we can learn outside the job. You know what I'm saying? No, bitch, these motherfuckers know what they're doing. That's why you will never meet the CEO. That's why you will never meet the corporate motherfuckers. That's why, you get what I'm saying. You never have, they don't have to touch down on the ground basis and the ground level. They have already built a foundation. They have already built a solid foundation. They don't have to come back and check in on their creation to make sure that it's running sufficiently. All these motherfuckers do is send in a cleaning crew or like OSHA or some shit like that to make sure that people are still not getting hurt, and to make sure that if you're in the food service energy, to make sure that to make sure that the environment is clean and the ovens are clean and the fucking floors is clean and shit like that. And the cabinets and shit like that is clean. And the only reason that they even have to do that tidbit of it is because certain things are illegal. Like you have certain programs like OSHA, wherein if they come on the job site and you're not wearing a proper hard hat, you're not wearing a proper safety glasses, earplugs, fucking steel toe boots and shit like that, that the company itself can actually get in trouble. So they're forced by law to actually involve these type of people to come in. Otherwise, there would be no checkup. They don't have to check up on it because they've already created the atmosphere in the environment. People who are not aware, who are getting into these jobs, by default, they're going to act up under this certain character branch, regardless of if they give a fuck about the job itself or not. They're going to be subconsciously influenced to act out in these certain characteristics and traits. That's why even if a person gives zero fucks about the job itself, they're still going to be in a situation where they're making sure that they get these certain responsibilities done by the end of the night. They're making sure that they're being nice to the customers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This is real shit, man. Like this is real life. A lot of y'all don't understand it. Breeding grounds, real shit. Yeah, for real. Breeding specific type of characters, breeding specific type of men and women, breeding specific type of thought forms and emotions. You get what I'm saying? That's what's actually going on in real life. You know what I'm saying? But just have a little bit of stability. I just taught y'all how to develop y'all stability and deal with that even in chaotic circumstances and situations. How to balance out the scales, how to deal with more stability and just have a better life, bitch. Like, damn, have a better life, bitch. Everything ain't got to be chaotic. Everything ain't got to be out of your control. You have control over way more shit than you think that you do. You read it how I said it. Word. Internal intuitions. Plus, me and you already on the, you know what I'm saying? Me and you already on the, we already like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know how that shit go. But anyways, we getting off here. We're 50 minutes in. I got to start getting ready for work. It's almost 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's 2:40. I still got to take a shower and shit like that. So I'm going to hop off here, get ready for work. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for everybody being in the chat. I appreciate y'all. And thanks for motherfuckers who add on to shit instead of just talking about nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to y'all. Take it easy. We out of here. Peace.